part of me that's just like super tempted to just become like a live feed politics commentator right now and just watch the front lines and news updates and just sit and just chatting all day. But I feel like somebody needs to, you know, not be doing that and also not streaming Elden Ring. So speaking of chat, how many of you are playing Elden Ring? And have they fixed it yet, or is that game still just fucked? You appreciate the lack of Elden Ring? I saw a I think it was Merc who posted it on Discord yesterday. I've got nothing against Elden Ring. That game looks very, very, very well made, but this made me laugh pretty hard. So you know, Onion Ring. Also, Pilot, how's the new microwave? If you're still here. I also feel like can I say that the fact that I'm only just seeing calls to block Russian cell networks from roaming in EU service with EU service providers, they're only just saying, yo, we should block that now. I feel like the tech side of this war has been like 4 days behind. Can still cook an egg? You're cooking eggs in the microwave? Huh. Well. Anyway. Hot beards. We are trying to become the mountain home. That is the goal. So I'm trying to get the king in the fort. So let's keep working towards that. So we're going to try and fix trading today. So that they can actually get wagons into the fort. Because I don't think they've traded with wagons since, like, the very beginning. Hot beards, water-defended fort. The drain is currently sealed still. We are in the process of draining it. Did I kill the siege just now in there, or did I just fire it off? I think I just fired it off.
Meow meow. Hello again, kittens. Alright, you little shits.
This is the river that is currently refilling because we drained it. I can drain it with 2 levers. I just need to, well, 3 levers, actually. I've got a few bridges that I need to drop out, and then it drains down through here. You're drunk? Wow. I don't believe Ghost has ever been in the chat drunk, but chat, the mods are drunk. Hide the beer. As for the fort itself, if you want an overview, the upper layer is pretty empty. There isn't a ton going on up here. I was working on a siege defense system there, and then I just kind of stopped, so I might repurpose that into something else. This area down here is the water reserves that are filling currently. This is the upper bedrooms, the middle bedrooms, the old taverns on this layer, the new taverns on this layer. There's a temple on this layer. We need to build a nicer temple. Down here is the main entrance, which we need to make wagon accessible today. This is where we are breeding some animals. Down here is the building that we built in the middle of the river. This is stuff that's going to be an art and beauty project. This is the lower bedrooms, and then the rest of this is just like cavern, 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 and then lava. We're also going to be mining out some more adamantine today, I think. Need to figure out if there's stuff above us, which it looks like there's definitely stuff below us. Don't know if there's stuff up here, so we're going to need to find out if there's stuff up there. You're home? That's good. Drink water. Lots of water. I was going to make glass furnaces, but turns out that I don't actually have any glass in the fort, so that's fun. So we're just gonna make some more smelters in these spots. New day, new sound. Yes, it's one of those days. The end game for this fort is I want to get the king into this fort. I want this to be the faction's mountain home, right? We are labeled as a city. We just need to increase our output volume of value. And then we get once we get the king and we are the mountain home. Then at that point I'm going to make a bunch of adamantine weapons, and then we jump over to being an adventurer. That is the plan. You have an irrational need to make sure that you don't think you're cooking. So here's the thing. You can make scrambled eggs in the microwave, right? Take two eggs, crack them into a bowl, scramble them, add some salt, add butter, like a brick, maybe like 1 centimeter by 1 centimeter cube of butter, or butter equivalent, right? Little bit of olive oil, a little bit of pepper, and put it into the microwave for about 10 seconds, pull it out, stir it, put it back in the microwave for about 10 seconds, pull it out, stir it, put it back in the microwave for about 10 seconds, pull it out, stir it, repeat until you have scrambled eggs. You can do it. It takes about 2 minutes. As long as you pull it out and stir it, it's fine. Like, you can absolutely make scrambled eggs, just don't put a boiled egg in a microwave. That's like asking for trouble. But you can absolutely put eggs in a microwave and be okay. As far as named dwarves in the fort, and if you would like a dwarf in this fort, just give me a shout. We have Ronald. We have KD8. We have Axon, Stone, What, Pigfinite. We have Rhinestone. We have Vinsati. We have Joe. We have Gunslinger. We have Elamino. We have Waffles. Shoutouts to Waffles. We have, who made the waffle bat, by the way. Waffles, the legendary weaponsmith that made an adamantine hammer, which is now wielded by our captain of the guard. We have Mike F. We have Friggin' Bob. We have Red Octobear. We have Max. We have Roel from YouTube. We have Clowny Cobalt, Rory, Piranha, Sideways. We have Kettle Lars. We have Merc. We have Cussy. We have Pink Fluffy Llama. We have Amateur Player. We have Tygo. We have Nox, who's still alive somehow. Ponce. Animal. And Figurine, who made a cool figurine. Cajun Bard and Taylaby. Kitty milk cartons. Kitty milk cartons, you say? Explode in microwaves. I'd be inclined to believe that. Just because I'm incapable of, like, you know, not doom scrolling. Apparently Germany's stepping in. Because Germany has announced a vast spending increase that may upend European security, says Washington Post. Ooh. Congrats. You've made fucking Germany spend money on weapons. But anyway. The foil on the inside heats up and makes it... Oh, yeah, no, that makes sense, actually. Because, like, cartons have, like, that foil... Yeah, I believe it. I certainly believe it. That's, like, the classic, like... If you have a kid-sized milk carton, pour it into a mug, then microwave, right? That's the important bit, is pour it into a mug first. Let's see what the frame rate's like on this fort. I remember being a little chunky. So something that we're trying to do is I would like to make this fortress wagon accessible, and currently it is not. So we're going to make flooring all the way up to this wall, because the wagons tend to spawn up here. So we are going to build flooring / roads, bits and pieces of flooring and roads, all the way along here. Just all the way. So that when the humans spawn, when the mountain home spawns, when whoever spawns, they'll actually have a way into the fortress. El Naso, long goddamn time no see. How you been? Welcome to the Doomer stream. It's good to see you. I hope you've been all right. Can technically make toast in the microwave? Now that is hurting my brain. How would you do that? Like wrap it in tinfoil and put butter on it and put it in the microwave and just be like, fucking YOLO. Do buildable paths do something except for look pretty? They stop trees from growing. That's something. I guess it depends on what your opinion of something is. Because I'm building this pathway to have a path for my, not military, that's the wrong word. I'm building this pathway to have a path for my mountain home to be able to get into the fort. So when you say buildable paths, do you mean like roadways? Like like this button, paved road? Or like the wooden ones? Is that what you're asking about? Because paved roads are like, they use the architecture skill to be constructed, and they can have quality levels. And if they have a high enough quality level, dwarves can actually get happy thoughts when they see them. Just like, you know how sometimes you'll see a dwarf that's like, I was near a trading depot. I am happy about this. Paved roads can have the same effect, whereas floors can't. But I'm building a combination of them, mostly because when things walk on the roads, they flicker, which bothers me. Yeah, so because they're made using a dwarven skill, there is a chance that they'll get positive feels because of them. So. You're sorry for inflicting microwave cooking upon this chat. For what it's worth, I used to know somebody who I don't associate with anymore due to like vastly disagreeing on Canada's vaccination policies. But used to swear that the only correct way to cook a potato is with a microwave, and I am convinced that he was a broken human being. He's just like, the only like proper way to cook a potato is with a microwave. I'm like, I'm sorry, what? Would always swear that like the best way to cook a potato was to I think we can just open this up. He used to always swear that the best way to cook a potato was to put it in a microwave for or prick it, put it in a microwave for 10 minutes and then bake it, which I tried once and made a very not well cooked potato. But it cooked it. I mean, like, it worked, but like you could also just like not do it that way. We're opening the trap back up, which will drain it a little bit slower, or rather a little bit faster, I think, and also allow the dwarves a way through that way. You've prepared cake in a microwave once? That was not bad. There's lots of tricks and methods of like cooking stuff in microwaves. Like one of my main uses for my microwave is I make overnight oats pretty frequently, which is just when you take oatmeal, you add water and like milk the night before. You add like one and a bit portions of water for the amount of oatmeal you put it in a container, put a lid on it, and stick it in the fridge for overnight and let it sit overnight. So I make that pretty frequently, but the next morning, usually what I'll do is I'll put it in the microwave and give it like 2 minutes to like heat it up so I still have hot oatmeal and also finishes cooking it. Because sometimes it's like not totally all the way done if you just leave it on overnight. I like to do that. You do prefer them microwave them rather than baking due to speed, but best? Yeah, I disagree. Like he was like trying to like insist that there was like health benefits to using a microwave. Like it was just better for you. I'm like, I don't know if this is true, man. I don't know what wives' tale this is, but it's one that I haven't heard before. Well, it does seem like Zelensky's getting his wish of ammo and not a ride, so. Quote of the week, though. Why are you? Oh, right. What are you? Yes, of course. I was just confirming that that was indeed the vampire. Outside of those two vampires, we haven't seen any other vampires in the fort, though, which has been interesting. I was kind of expecting more. Like, whenever I see a vampire in a fort, I always just be like, all right, well, we've had one, so we're going to have 50 more now, right? Yeah, I was just talking about how to cook eggs in a microwave. Like, you can absolutely do it. I mean, the last time I cooked eggs in a microwave, for example, was when I was at a convention. I bought at the beginning of the convention. This was the last time I went to TwitchCon, I think. Yeah, the beginning I bought. Or no, not the last time. Last time I went to. No, not the last. It wouldn't have been the last time I went to TwitchCon. Probably was the time before. Because I wasn't with Hobo that time, so actually, no, this would have been a while ago. Now that I'm actually thinking about it, this would have been a while ago, because this was the last time I went without Hobo, so that would have been, like, LA, so that would have been 27. Well, Hobo was there, but, like, I didn't stay with Hobo, so it would have been, like, 2017, I think. At the beginning of the con, I bought a loaf of bread, a block of cheese, some butter, and half a dozen eggs, so 6 eggs. And I would just, it's okay, cuties. And I would just literally just make eggs in the microwave because that's all I had in my kitchenette was a microwave. And then I would go get breakfast. But that's like surviving in a hotel in LA in a part of town that you don't really want to be like just going and getting food. But how's things where you're at, cutest? Considering I don't believe you've ever popped into chat before and said that you're drunk, I hope that things are all right. Ow. So, oh boy. Ready for a big, like, expose, a wall of text. Your boss got to Russia from LA for a week, and the worst started when he was on the plane with Russia and to Russia with his family? Okay. Concerned now about how this story ends. Meanwhile, my dwarves up in here are just making me roads. Yeah, well, I'll see if I can spot some good road moods for you guys. It is kind of neat the way they construct roads, because they construct them almost like the flower beds, like, or the gardens. Little planting plots are constructed the same way the roads are. Turns out he thinks that social interactions could be enhanced by alcohol plus the stress. So you got drunk. Okay, I mean, like, you know, honestly, war is a very legitimate reason to just go get drunk. So your boss got you drunk. Okay, yeah, that seems fun though. You know it's going well when you typo something, and then you correct the typo and you typo it a second time. Been there, done that. Code Bug, thanks for the raid. Hi, what were you playing? If I can ask, what brings you to my little neck of the woods today? Cheers for the raid. Thanks, cutest. For the shout out. Chat, can I get a couple beers for the raiding party? Just a bit of a warning. We're kind of a doomer stream. There's a lot of war talk here. Just kind of a preemptive warning, but we're trying to turn this fortress into the mountain home. We're trying to acquire Le King. The fortress itself is a very, 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 very deep trench with a drainable river at the bottom, which I am capable of completely draining down to no water whatsoever. We can completely redirect it off the map at will. Also, hey, what's up? So that is the kind of the brief overview of the fort and what we're working on. We're trying to get the king in the fort today. Until all of this comes to conclusion. Potentially a dumb question, but what's stopping you? You just survived an Etten attack? Hell yeah. Was just wandered into a cage trap. Ettins are one of the easier critters to dodge if you're quick about it. I mean, I have a giant in a cage trap who lives in this little room at the bottom of the river, which, you know, we constructed in the river. And then it got mud all over the top of it because I kind of ejected the mud. But on top of it is a little statue, which is, of course, you know, a finely designed image of Thiefme, the giantess, and elves in silver. Thiefme is surrounded by the elves. The artwork relates to the rise of the giantess Thiefme as an enemy of the musical Bejeweled Cacti in the mid-spring of 131 during the giant rampage in Rainwater. So this giant is imprisoned and memorialized. The next time there's a siege, yeah. I love releasing Forgotten Beasts on sieges. Our siege defense is this, Gurgletron 9000. Which is a very, very, very big water defense structure that, with simply the pull of a lever, can cause a lot of drownage, which is quite efficient. Maybe you'll get to see it go off. Your own morals, mainly? Fair enough. I mean, I will say that, like, you don't necessarily need to get fucked up, but substances do help with coping. For a lot of things. Back up. Because having cognizance also keeps your survivability higher, so there is that. But currently we are constructing this pathway into the fortress. This pathway is intended to be used by trade caravans, because currently they spawn at the edge of the map and then immediately cancel their spawn because they can't get to the fortress almost every time. So I am trying to make my depot accessible. That is what we are currently attempting. So that is the current attempt here. Swiss president tells has stated on television that it is very probable that the Swiss will follow the European Union on Monday, sanctioning Russia and freezing assets. So it's official. The Swiss are saying things. You know it's serious when Sweden and Switzerland start taking part. You just had to cut down a whole lot of trees and get those merchant idiots to the fort. I mean, it's not just cutting down trees. You have to cut down the trees and then stop them from growing back, right? But I don't know. It's they're not necessarily idiots, the merchants. They're fine, but it can sometimes be rather frustrating when they're just like, we don't even. Yeah, it's also been a really long time since World War II. The elves are idiots? No, the elves are perfectly logical, perfectly reasonable creatures. It's just gotta abide by their rules, you know? As long as you abide by their rules and customs, they're fine. I really like trading with elves because elves bring big fun animals. Like, you know, tame giant elephants and such that I don't need to tame myself. The number of cool-ass war creatures, not in this particular fort, but that I've got... Uh-oh, that was a bridge. The number of cool-ass war creatures I've gotten from the elves over my years of playing Dwarf Fortress is vastly outnumbers the annoyances I've had from them. Also, the elves don't even bring wagons, so why would the elves, like, not be able to get to your trade depot? They bring, animals for trading, so they're super easy to trade with. Like, the elves are the only ones who can actually get into my fort right now. It's the humans and the dwarves that keep canceling. I'm having to build this road for the dwarves, not for the elves. Like I was saying earlier before you got here, Cutest, like, war in the age of information is incredibly different than war in the age of lack of. Because everybody has all of the information. Granted, there's also a lot of fake information out there, but it's not too difficult to spot. You'll never forget that one elf mayor who killed 31 goblins barehanded. Was that one of my forts? What's up, Pablo? That sucks. I'm so sorry, man. That was one of yours? Okay, well, shoutouts to that elf mayor. Because I've definitely had elves in my dwarven military before that fucking kick ass, so. The elves are real fucking strong when you actually give them decent weapons. The problem is like, by default, they just use, like, wooden waffle bats. It's not exactly very efficient. You gotta, like, give them an axe or something for them to actually do stuff. But, yeah, hopefully you're able to find a spot. Like, are you gonna be okay, Pablo? Nah, I understand, Codebug. I do that all the damn time. And thank you. I appreciate the raids. I don't get a lot of raids on this channel, because, you know, I think, as you would know, Dwarf Fortress is kind of a niche thing. But raids are always appreciated. And don't know if it interests you, but on Thursday this week, Tarn's joining me on stream at 3 p.m. Pacific, which may be a kind of somber Tarn Talks session, but I don't know. I think every single one I've done with him, there's been like a brief period where we talk about pandemic-related things and like state of the world. So I have this weird feeling that Ukraine will probably come up. Kind of hope it does. But that's something I actually want to ask him in advance if there's like a particular charity that he wants me to shout out at some point. I should ask him that. Shoot him an email. Because that is absolutely something that we could do. Good coffee. Cheers out, Codebug. We'll see you when we see you. And the game is saving, so there's not much I can do right now. Like I said, we're mostly just constructing this road before the next siege arrives. As the sieges have been coming pretty damn frequently recently. Although we have managed to destroy a few of the goblin sites. We took out this one and this one. Let's go hit another one. That's a very small population. Let's go hit that. There's 20 goblins there. We're going to try and attack and raise the site. I'm not going to bother looting other items because they're bloody useless. So, but I'll steal livestock because I'll take more food. And we can always eat livestock, so we're going to go do that. Go get them, dwarves. So 3 of 4 squads are headed out. Yeah, I had a goblin in a fort of mine once, El Neso, that did something similar to that. I gave him a silver warhammer, and that one goblin, we could never tell who he was because he was always fighting against the goblins, but that one goblin took out dozens of goblins. It had so many confirmed kills by the time that fort was done. But Pablo, if there's anything that like we can do to help, I don't know what, but shout. Being forced to suddenly move is real rough. I kind of like am fortunate that when my ex left me, it was very much a she's moving out, not I'm moving out, because my name was on the lease and hers wasn't. So it was like, well, you live in my apartment technically. You know, I was talking about how I need to get these roads done before the next siege arrives. Well, a siege arrived. So a vile force of darkness has arrived. It looks like it's the same goblins. Also, I just sent my military out. Have they left the map yet? Yes. Okay. Let's, cancel all, jobs and get the dwarves out of the construction zone. Just confirming. Yep, still hate of praises. You're returning to some fun? Yeah, and I just sent my squads out, meaning my squads are going to return to fun too. I'm going to hope that the squads come back really quickly. So I'm going to leave the gates open for a minute. You look forward to hearing about DF stuff then? Yeah, Tarn's going to join us on Thursday, yeah. There will be a video going up tomorrow. I wanted to have one up on Friday, but a war happened, so, you know, Brain has been in other places that don't necessarily coalesce with making content, so got the podcast out last night, so my new episode of my podcast is up. But aside from that, we'll have a video done tonight, and I'll get her up tomorrow. And then there will be a forum where you guys can submit questions, although I think I'm going to probably do less questions this time. Focus a bit more. Why is there a dead dwarf in this river? I have no idea. I think instead we're going to focus a little bit more on just him and me talking for the first bit. Just because I want to hear him talk about that that roadmap. All right, I hope that my squads come back. I'm hoping that my squads come back before this army reaches a spot where I need to start locking doors, because I really, 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 really want them to just be able to run back into the fortress and not have to fight with this. Otherwise, I may lose a bunch of military dwarves. I'm actually just going to pause this for a real quick second and go use the restroom. Then we'll play this fight out because I kind of need to pee. Don't want to make mistakes. All right, let's play this out. Goblins all piling over that little bridge. Heading down towards the fortress. They seem to be led by a very brave goblin named Ustes, who has a copper mace. Of course, has the ceremonial copper cap. You know, they're wielding like entirely copper. We could probably win against them. Probably. 30 odd dwarves, but like I said, I really, really, really don't want to have to let my soldiers die over this. How many are we at? 130? Lee. It's actually not that bad. 130. Trolls, goblins, and beak dogs. Let's see. Okay, so not all of my squads have left the map yet. Still waiting on Tygo to leave the map. Okay, so they're all on the other side of the map. So I do need to wait for them to leave before they can come back. Meanwhile, the goblin army's on the other side. I mean, this might end up working out, timing-wise. I'm just hoping that these three dwarves, specifically Tygo and Nox, make it off the map. And, yeah, Sideways isn't leaving the map. Just because, like, I like my named dwarves. Come on, get off the map, get off the map, get off the map. There you go, perfect. So that's 3. There's 2 left. That is a lot of miasma. Somebody definitely... Floor toppled by a troll, not the floor. How dare they topple my floor? Okay, let's just get that last squad out of here. On the opposite end of the spectrum, you once trained a single Marks Dwarf with a trapped Titan. Took him 14 months to finish the job. Really? What kind of Titan? Can you remember what it was, El Naso? Also, what brings you by the stream today? It's been a long time. I hope that things have been okay for you. The world has gotten kind of weird recently. For obvious reasons, but... Giant fire-breathing tortoise. Okay, that makes perfect sense. Tortoises are, like, unkillable in Dwarf Fortress. Giant tortoises and giant turtles are literally, like, unkillable. They are some of the weirdly toughest creatures I've ever seen in Dwarf Fort. Okay, so you, Rimtar, I'm just going to, large hammers. I'm going to move you to the large hammers so that you can just not leave the map. And I think that that's every... Yeah, that's every one of my soldiers gone. So they are now at the mission. You can head back home and get food. Otherwise, that dwarf's going to die on the way out, probably. Goblins are coming down the hill. Hey, Cyrolac. I hope you're doing all right. Stone's running back into the fort. I don't think any dwarves have actually died just yet. Oh, God. There's a troll behind Stone who got caught in a cage trap. Come on, Stone. You can make it through the door. You can make it through the door. You can make it through the door. You can make it through the... Wow, that timing though. All right. You put you so? I don't think it's anybody's fault. I do not think that you wanting, like, if I was, say, told that my country is going to be invaded by anybody and I can move somewhere else to get away. Like, let's just say there was a insane dictator running the states and Canada was going to get invaded. And I was told I could move to Japan to get away from it. I would absolutely stay in Canada and just say they're not going to do it. But I completely understand. Like I fully get the need and desire to stay home. Home has so much value that is, I think, easily forgotten by a lot of people. We're gonna close the side door so that they... Oh, wow, you haven't even left yet. We're gonna move you to this squad. Oh, great. Apparently one of my Hammer Lords didn't leave the map yet and is now fighting. Which is exactly what I didn't want to have happen. Rest in peace, Piranha. My squads are going to entirely die if they come back to the map right now. And there's still a few that need to leave. So you are going to join this squad that didn't go out in the first place. Apparently Sideways never left the map. Side door is shut. No, we're not talking about Trump. I was empathizing with a fictional example. DJ forgetting. The thing is, that I think a lot of Americans need to realize is they're not the most important people in this fight. And just because I make an example doesn't mean I'm automatically talking about Trump or America. All right. Which one am I? Any of my other dwarves get caught? Who's fighting right now? Oh, apparently, one of my dwarves is drowning underwater alongside of some goblins that are also drowning underwater. Well, that's good. A real bad place for my dwarves to be spawning, if that's where they're respawning. Well, this dwarf is just like fighting at the bottom of a river right now against a whole bunch of goblins. Well, I mean, you are a legendary hammer dwarf. Which squad are you in? Oh, you're just in the large hammers. Okay. Wielding the Glum Palm, a named silver warhammer. I really wish that you folks from the States wouldn't just automatically bring up Trump whenever I make an example. Because it's like the most common thing that you guys talk about. It's like, dude's not in office anymore. It would be like assuming that I'm talking about fucking somebody, any other past president whenever I'm referencing the States. Dwarf's just dodging. This dwarf's like putting up a hell of a fight. Holy shit. Although he's gonna drown. Like the water levels are rising, dude. Like, it is very deep. All good, BJ. Just like, remember I'm not automatically referencing Trump when I make a fictional example. Well, I mean, Putin's still in office, unfortunately, right? So that's still referenceable and a legitimate source of revenue. Yeah, I'm not mainstream media, and fuck most American mainstream media. A lot of that shit's, like, not much better than Russian propaganda. They like to think they are, but they're not. This poor dwarf. Come on, dude. Come on, Goden. You can make it out. You know, I'm gonna give you a nickname, Goden. You've been doing this whole fight for so long. I think you've earned it. Goden. Waterborn. Look at this shit. He's just fighting off an entire, like, squad of goblins and trolls by himself in a lake. Not actually getting any kills, mind you. Has had plenty of notable kills in the past. I would love to see this dwarf make it back. Anyway, we ran off to in the early autumn of 168, the Crimson Pulley attacked the dreadful terror of the Hate of Praises, and the dwarf Besmir led the attack. The dwarf Besmir's tactical planning was superior to the goblin Lepe, but the defenders had a slight positional advantage. And Torment learned. I guess they had like a heads up that we were coming. Yeah, Merc, exactly. Meanwhile, in your lovely country, said that Argentina must become the entryway for Russia and South America before a day before the invasion. Really? Well, at least it didn't age well, and he's not standing to it, or is he standing to it? Looks like our dwarves are pretty victorious in this fight so far. Haven't had any losses, just wins. A few tussles. Lots of the humans that are holding the spot are fighting with us. Yes and no. That's scary. But it looks like we came out victorious in the end. And we destroyed Torment learned with no losses. That's a lot of beak dogs, 11 and 12. The question is where are they respawning? What? Okay, this makes a lot more sense now. Seems like they are respawning behind where the goblins are. Seeing how many of them are in here. I think we just lock the trap and then bring my dwarves in. Trap lock. Front door. And we're going to jump to up here where my dwarves are respawning, where we appear to just be killing everything that's on the surface still. That poor dwarf that's in the river also seems to be a little bit gurgly. Have we sealed them in yet? Because I don't actually know. Nope, not yet. Seems like the only dwarf that's fighting is that one that's in the river still. I'm really... You still alive, dwarf? Oh my god, you're still alive. This guy is still alive. Look at this dwarf. He's just dodging everything. We're going to see if we can save this guy. I'm going to add some spots to the burrow real quick. We're going to start draining the river, which will slow the refill, but we don't actually need it right now. So if I add these 2 spots to the river and start draining it, hopefully it'll stop this guy from drowning, which seems to be his biggest threat right now. All right, so looks like the majority of the goblin threat is locked away currently, which is good news for us. And I need to stop hitting question mark. Really wish I could unbind the help menu. I wonder if I can, actually. I probably can. Looks like my squad is heading down towards the fort. Fighting all the goblins that are up on the surface, that's for sure. Damn. Seeing bits and pieces going everywhere. Considering, like, the majority of the goblin force is in the water trap right now, this shouldn't be too difficult for my dwarves. They are very, very good at what they do. Let's follow Merc, who's currently above ground trying to pick up equipment. Another air raid. The sirens. Have you seen explosions from where you're at, Tygo? Or just hearing them? Or heroic dwarves are running in and taking out these goblins. It's hard for me to, like, be pro-fighting right now, even if it's about fucking dwarves. Alright. Let's go down here. Let's see if I can station them in that spot. And, can't... Okay, which dwarf is fighting down here? One of my hammerlords is dove into the water. How are you doing up here? Terrified, shocked. Let's also turn these dwarves on so that they can just fight. While I try and get the drains going. The levers, the pull the lever jobs have been turned on. Merc is in a martial trance. Fighting against a bunch of trolls, seems like. Uh-oh. Merc is suddenly depressed. Terrified while in conflict. Seems like Merc just got here first. Merc has been found dead, unfortunately. The rest of the dwarves start piling in against the trolls. Seems like Merc just got there too early. A bunch of the trolls are angered. Waterborne is getting dehydrated. Yeah, I saw that. He's still alive, Waterborne. I'm not going to pull the lever for the trap until all these dwarves are inside, though. Which means that what I should actually do is unforbid this door. Well, it does seem like my dwarves are fighting through. Cussy was found dead. These dwarves just were not ready to fight, it seems like. They're still fighting in that spot. Other dwarves are coming up from the front. And it seems like the dwarves down here are also winning the fight. Is Waterborne still alive? Yeah, Waterborne is still alive, trying to head up to station. Still underwater. The water in the river is now draining, which means it's going to get shallower, meaning they shouldn't drown. And I think that it's time for us to make these goblins gurgle. So let's pull the drain levers first, because I think the drains are still open. No! Not Waterborne. Rest in peace, Waterborne. You were a good dwarf. You held them at the river. You love this fort and the whoosh trap? It's pretty spectacular. Man. R.I.P. Waterborne, you were a good dwarf. The drains are closed. Let the whoosh begin. Permit drowning. Crap go whoosh. Now we wait. Yeah, F indeed. I'm sad that dwarf had to drown. And it looks like the siege is now over. Most of the beak dogs apparently not drowning.
Bring out your dead!
They will drown, though. You could say that again, Raz. Quite literally. You could actually just say it again. Turning off the weight for the dwarves, letting them out. Because we probably need wounded. Tended to, I would assume. We did lose quite a few dwarves in that fight. We did. Evening Stone, how are you? Even worse than Sirens, bloody Viber chat, because sirens in your city are about as good as a whistle. Wait, what? As in, like, they're just annoying to listen to? Or they're just ineffective? Alright, how many are left? Basically none. So if there's any other combat happening, it means I'm drowning my own dwarves. But dwarves are running out to go help. It's time to begin draining. And shut down the whoosh. I'm not familiar with Viber. I've never heard of the amp before. Hey, Major Nerd. Oh, you almost can't hear them. I gotcha. That's like, when I don't hear about important news notifications and then I get a ping to my phone. It's like Telegram or Hangouts. Okay, yeah, I'm familiar with Telegram and Hangouts. I've never heard of Viber, though. But that's fair. Certain apps are used in certain regions and some aren't. Currently just waiting for the dwarves to pull a lever. And then the drains begin. Still plenty of booze, plenty of food, plenty of seeds, plenty of meat, plenty of plant, plenty of drink. Whoosh. The drains go. While we are doing our best to pump water back up and in, although there's only so much water I'm going to be able to pump because a lot of it is draining out. Hopefully they, yes, they blocked it off. Extra water isn't draining out, but we are flushing it as much as possible. Seems like there's a lot of body bits being put away now. You lost your 40 dwarf fort because of a corrupted save file on Mac. Oh no, you couldn't transfer your files or fix it. You had to wipe your fortress files. Oh no. Dwarf Fortress is one of those games where I do always recommend people make backups, but yeah, I realize that that's not always reasonable. I had like one corrupted fortress once. Fortunately, it's only ever happened to me once. But yeah, that shit sucks. Gotta get back to making those roads. We're in early autumn. Can't remember the last time we traded, so. But yeah, I understand those frustrations. That shit sucks. Shit sucks. Make a couple more coffins so that we can get these poor dwarves buried. Which is one of the reasons I'm excited about the premium version, because I'm hoping we'll have cloud save backups. I'm not necessarily holding out hope for them, but I'm hoping for them. And slaughter all of these beak dogs from the last siege that we did. Damn, we lost a lot of dwarves in that fight. Well, not a lot of dwarves, but more dwarves than I'd want to. Also got some dwarves, sitting in bed in the hospital. At least they're getting proper care. Yeah, that's good. I mean, you can always make a new fort, right? Well, that's not too much gameplay that you've lost. Yeah, no, I assumed, Tygo. I mean, like, I was wondering about this the other day, like, if we even have air raid sirens here. It might all just be internet and digital now. Because from what I can tell, like, the downtown regions do, but... because I was looking into this yesterday. The downtown regions here do. But for the majority of us, it would literally just be, like, an alert on our phones. Like, we get earthquake alerts. We don't... Like, there are some places where they have earthquake sirens. We don't have earthquake sirens. We literally get a text saying, there's an earthquake. Get away from things that could fall over. And I've gotten those before. It's literally just like my phone rings. It's like an earthquake alert. I don't think there's been any talk about what Tarn's planning on doing for workshops. I think all of that stuff is just assumptions right now. But I could be wrong. Maybe we'll get some information on that on Thursday. Here in the middle of the U.S., you have tornado sirens that can pull multiple duties. Yeah, I've seen videos of those tornado sirens, but I'm pretty certain we don't have tornado sirens here because we don't ever have tornadoes here outside of water spouts, but those are kind of different. That would be my assumption, is that they would just set off tornado sirens for you guys. I have no idea. It's a good question, Taigo. I would assume so. Hello, yes, this is an earthquake calling. It's not a phone call you can pick up. It's like, it sets off my phone alarm, basically. But yeah, good question. I don't think Canada is really planning on getting invaded, so I don't know. Generally, like, the Canadian foreign policy technique is just be liked by everybody. But not everybody likes us. Just most people like us. And then get offended and apologize when people don't like us. That's Canadian military strategy from what I can tell. It's a small vibration that's warning you about a really big vibration, yes. Your phone shifts and vibrates in case of a planet shifting and vibrating. Me and my brother will kick your ass. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. We are building these roads. Let's see. Has anybody gotten... Legendary Fine Burial Receptacle. I don't think I've ever seen that one before. I'm pretty sure, what, the big vibration by it skips straight to shaking. Also, I'm just going to make a trading depot right here, which I will unmake once we make the fortress. Yes, it's shifting and vibrating. If phone is on vibrate, it still rings an alarm. Oh, yes, yes, you are correct. I mean, phone still vibrates, but it's not. If your phone's on vibrate only like mine, it literally sets off the phone alarm. It's like your alarm clock going off, basically. Earth's on vibrate, God's calling. If there is a God, more like nature is calling. All right, so we need to make it easier to get down to this layer, basically. I could... Could give access to that. I don't know. Don't know. Be back in a second. I'm just gonna go grab a juice box. My blood sugar's low. Also, Cooler, since you're in the chat, you said that Twitch bonked some Russian accounts, and you said 4 of them specifically. Who, and can I ask what they were doing? If you know, because I appear to have completely missed that bit. Apparently that's a tree. Oh, you said the number 4 when I was talking about that, so I figured you were talking about that, but you must have been referencing something else then. I'll just figure it out. Oh, okay. Right. Oh, yeah, okay, 4 days. You know, you are correct, yes. You are correct, that makes sense. I've been doing a terrible job of reading Twitch chat the past few days. This is a thing I cannot show you guys because there is a very large-breasted woman on the, in the article. But, apparently Twitch and OnlyFans have stopped paying Russian users to accounts of sanctioned banks. That's the thing I was looking for. They're not paying people. Kind of sucks, but also makes sense. Migrants have arrived, replacing the dwarves that we've lost, I'm assuming. Any named dwarves? Ton? The gem setter? That kind of sucks because it's, you know, along the same lines of people being affected by something that they didn't cause, but also, I get it. I do also get it. I get it, but I don't get it. Yeah, exactly. It's like, this kind of doesn't make sense, but okay. Like, I understand why, but it sucks. I think is maybe take on that. You should be cheering, but you feel like that you feel that sanctions like this will only make and help it make it into North Korea 2.0. I was talking with somebody yesterday when I was downtown that more or less stated that their hopeful outcome is that this just unseats Putin. And and some people leave Russia temporarily and then come back after all this is over. I think that's maybe the best outcome, which I don't necessarily disagree with. So I think a shift in power structure for Russia probably wouldn't be a bad thing. But then again, I think a lot of countries could do that. We're headed out? Alrighty, amateur. Cheers. See you when we see you. You have no power to change that? You want to oppress an oligarchy, not people who can barely make a living? Yeah. It seems kind of... But also, at the end of the day, you know, it's war, and the people that actually get damaged in war are rarely... It's the people that get hurt in war, is always the civilians, right? It's... The people just kind of chilling and living don't ever want to fight. It's just usually the way things end up shaking out, unfortunately. The good thing is that Russian police seem to be starting to falter. I only hope that the truth and well, I mean, whenever I see posts or an article about people in Russia protesting, it gives me a little bit of hope. Because at the very least, people who are protesting exist. War is when the young die for the bitter and old. Yes, that is a good quote. How you doing, Hashan? Why do they always send the poor? Yes. You know, maybe one of the possible good outcomes out of this is maybe we'll get a new System of a Down album. Maybe. If anything is going to make System of a Down put out a new album, it's a global war. Doubtful, but maybe. We can hope. We can hope. Although, to quote a band who, or not to quote a band who talks about politics, but Kevin yesterday when I was chatting with him was saying that he's hoping that this is going to get us a couple good Sabaton songs in a few years. Like, exactly like Tygo just said. Like, we can all, I think we can all safely state that Sabaton is probably going to write a song about Snake Island, and definitely it's going to reference at some point, I need ammunition, not a ride. Like, both of those are going to be present in that. The Black Sea and Snake Island is going to get its day. They'll probably also write another song about the ghost of Kiev. All of that's going to happen. Sabaton is a lot of dumb fun. You go to a protest if you're not afraid to waste 15 days of your life or a bit of money. Is it wasted, though? To be totally fair, cutest, don't feel bad. To be completely clear, do not feel bad. Like, you are not alone on that. And there are ways to help outside of protesting, right? You don't actually own any of their, You don't actually own any of their albums? Well, I mean, Sabaton is one of those bands that I will see live whenever they come by, but I don't really have any desire to own any of their music. Does that make any sense? Like, I don't really sit down and listen to Sabaton. But Sabaton is great. Great fun. Honestly, you think that a general strike will solve everything in a jiffy, but that's way too optimistic? When you say general strike, do you mean general strike in Russia? And in the Russian military? Because I feel like if the Russian military just stopped fighting, that would solve everything. But that usually is the way how war works, right? It's like, if everybody stopped fighting, this would all be over real quick, which is usually true. That would kind of be the optimal dream situation, I would expect. All right, so I need a entrance. This is connected to anything? No, it's not. Okay, so I make a lever, and I need some mechanisms. We're gonna call this front, or no, trading door. Trading door. We're going to put a lock right here, because I don't need that to be full.
Hey, Crypt Beer Crypt Sip, keep up the stuff. I really like the short one.
The short one? What do you mean by short one? I don't know, I make so much really long content on YouTube. I'm not entirely sure which one you're referring to, but thank you very much for the resub and keeping that sub alive for his 6th month and keeping this channel funded. The 2nd resub of the day. Cheers. You met a guy on Discord who's from Ukraine, and you talked in DMs for a while, everything in English. But he talked in Russian when the war started and the military base near his home was bombed. That felt a bit devastating. What, was he caught in the bombing? Is that what you're saying, or? Because I could understand why that would be devastating. Losing people is the worst. Is that close to you, Igo? I don't know locations particularly well. I'm also, like, scared to try and pronounce anything because I know I will fuck it up horribly. God, I love this little balcony so much. Oh, what exactly is this? I'm still trying to figure out what exactly that is, because according to the description, it's one kind of game. According to all the screenshots, it's another kind of game. And according to the, like, tags, it's another kind of game, and according to the developers in the brief summary of the game, it's a different kind of game. All I know is that we have to invade the alien planet to stop the usurpers from re-penetrating the planet. Anyway, that was the thing. People ask me to do more of those. I'm like, I need to find more games like this. And they don't pop up very frequently. Basically south of you? Gotcha. Yeah, that shit's scary. It is. I mean, for whatever it's worth, I really like David Lynch's take on it with his weather report. Because, I don't know. It was a shockingly well-spoken little speech. More people need to hear that thing. So we're digging this side door here, which is going to be connected to this bridge here, which is going to be connected to this lever, which is going to be our trading door, which hopefully I'll be able to get traders into before traders arrive. But yeah, no, the what exactly is this video was kind of a spur of the moment thing that I did on stream, and then was like, should I put that on YouTube? And chat was like, I laughed, so I put it on YouTube. I have a question. Why was that thread removed? It's this very, 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 very large space aircraft. Pilot guy was talking about it earlier in chat. This thing was just, it's the world's largest aircraft, and there's only one of them. And it was just like hanging out in its hangar, and it got bombed. They were saying earlier today that it would cost $2 to $3 billion to fix it and rebuild it, and it would take years. What? Oh, I've got a tantrum. Anybody reporting crimes? Who is it? Moses. Minor. This dwarf. Oh, shit. You mind not doing that, dwarf? Need those horizontal axles fixed. I'm going to fill the river back up real quick. I want it to be full. I don't want dwarves running through it right now. Don't see anybody reporting crimes. Come on, dwarf. Last thing we need is a dwarf running around punching people. I'm hoping it'll have the opposite effect, Hoshan. But there's a couple trigger-happy nitwits in charge of various countries around the world, so that is the fear. Wonder if that will ever come to life? Well, maybe China can do something good and build a cool airplane. I think that's a fair thing to hope for. But yeah, the major fear is that this war will make it okay, or make it certain leaders feel okay with invading other countries because Russia's doing it. That is the fear. That is the overarching fear. But hopefully that won't happen. Hopefully it's just Putin going on a crazy crusade, and it's over sooner rather than later, and we can just get back to, you know, not being a completely segmented planet. We've only got one of these places, and we got to protect it. Unfortunately, it seems that certain world leaders are, how do I put this? Living in history, I guess, and haven't realized that the world's moved on, like beyond the part where we just murder people for no fucking reason. Or for strategic purposes, or because, like, you just don't trust somebody. But, here we go. But, what do I know? I'm a Canadian who never really graduated high school, so maybe don't listen to my takes. we gotta knock down more trees. Where exactly are we headed to? We are headed to right here, down here almost. Okay, so this has been dug up. Let's do this over to here. Up another layer. It will make Putin far more confident if this ends up in his favor. He's already blatantly threatened other countries with invasion if they try to join NATO. Oh yeah, no, he did. That was like the first thing he did. It was literally like the first thing that he did was like, if you like do anything against my special military operations, which is apparently what we're calling fucking invasions now. He literally stated, he's like, the consequences will be dire and unprecedented. It's like, well, pfft. He literally started off by fucking wagging his dick around and threatening everybody. He's literally just doing the old man shakes fist at cloud and tells kid to get off lawn, but from bunker with big guns. I don't know. It's just frustrating. And there's literally, like, there's nothing that somebody of my scale can realistically do. I wish I could do more. All I can really do is sit here and play Dwarf Fortress and try and just be a safe space where people can vent about shit. Because I feel like everybody kind of needs that a little bit. So, trying to help as best I can. We have a saying for this, like a monkey with a grenade. I think I can safely say that a large portion of the planet right now would just be chanting "pull the pin" if Putin was holding a grenade. But I don't think that's what that saying means, so... He's been in his bunker since COVID started. This is why he's fully fucking lost it. Like, you know how people have gotten a little bit weird since the pandemic started, right? Cutest? This is just Putin's weird. His weird is that he genuinely believes that he could, like, pull this off. Right? Like, I've gone a little bit nuts. And me going a little bit nuts is, going vegan. Like, that's me going a little bit nuts, right? Like, making, like, food that I didn't normally cook and, like, go partially vegan. That's me going kind of insane during the pandemic. Whereas him going insane during the pandemic is like, by the way, we should invade Ukraine. You're very pessimistic? From watching Google Maps, it seems like they're doing well. Because you can literally see where their front lines are, Hoshan, by watching Google Maps. But I mean, for whatever it's worth, the person right above that question in chat for you, Hoshan, is in Ukraine. So we do have people who can literally tell you, from their perspective, how well things are going. From what I can tell, it's not great. But gets a situation from internal sources, so he might not know that Ukraine is not controlled by Nazis. That does not mean it's his fault still. Oh, it's absolutely his fault. Absolutely his fault. I love that the term Nazi has just turned into default. I don't like you at this point. It's like, it has no meaning anymore, that word. I mean, it does, but it's now just like unpopular people. Steroids do, in fact, cause grandeur and exaggeration. And also, Putin does have a habit of posting videos of himself, like, outside hunting and shit, doesn't he? Like, I've definitely seen those, like, man versus wild cosplay pictures he posts every so often. I mean, considering, like, the status of a lot of Russian Olympians, it wouldn't shock me. Cutest. If he's drinking that stuff, too. Been a long time naked, at least. Oy vey. We've been in a pandemic for a long time, though. BRB, be safe. Get some water. In order to become the mountain home here, we need to increase our exports for this fortress, so. That's the basis for this road and all that. You know, I might just build a tower right here. Where is this? This is right above the water tunnel. Could just build a tower here. I don't know what I'd do with it, though. Maybe a tower here, kind of on the edge of this. Even if it's just for show and doesn't really do much. I think it would just be kind of cool to have a tower here. This means what kind of blocks do I use? Let's use diorite, because I'm kind of running out of other materials. But I'm going to continue building this road. Okay, so this is where the drain ends. It's more of a, imagine how much Stalin fucked up and that some people went to the Nazis for safety. It was a dark time in our history. We're not proud of it, but we don't suppress information about it. I mean, here's the thing, right? And I think everybody needs to remember this about World War II, is World War II was a very different time, and the way information was made available then was very different than the way information is made available now. The amount of access the average person has to information about their government, what their government is doing, who's in charge, what kind of information is available is completely different. Like, people are significantly more aware of the minute-to-minute happenings of their governments, right? And this includes Russia, right? This goes for everybody. And because of because of the availability of information, the ability of governments to suppress people speaking out against them is significantly lower. So it's a much different war. Much different. Has that been connected? Yes, okay. So in case of siege, I can close this. Now I've got a long way to go. We have to basically build up to that ramp that I'm constructing there. I mean, well, I mean, I'm not going to pretend to know how the inner workings of Ukraine work, because I don't. I don't know what... I don't even know what your guys' opinion of the people in charge of your country right now is. Although it seems like Zelensky's managed to do possibly the best wartime PR any person in charge of a country could have done given the circumstances. Like, it's actually kind of incredible how effective their sales pitch has been. Like, I don't believe I've seen the internet rally behind a world leader so heavily ever before. Dude just knows how to talk, I guess. Which makes sense given his job. I need some here. Probably gonna get canceled. Being built. I mean, everywhere has really, really small minorities of crazy people that don't speak for the entire country. Everybody has that, cutest. Everywhere. Trust me, that's not unique to your country. I've seen them marching here, right? Like, they exist everywhere. They're just... Everybody has the village idiot. We just don't call them village idiots anymore. Now we just call them politicians. There are two options, great leader and a motherfucker who started a literal war. I guess that it really is a mixture of both. That he definitely was a bit too flamboyant with Putin before the war and teased him. Yeah. But I don't know. The one thing I will say is while Zelensky definitely seems to have I don't want to use the word provoked because it doesn't look like he provoked him, but he definitely like stood his ground. Or at least he's, you know, sticking to it, if that means anything. You know, he didn't like stand his ground initially just to play tough guy and then run away at the first sign of actual fighting, which, you know, a lot of world leaders would do. Or is that? Most of the world thought Putin was bluffing. And most of the world thought that when you call that bluff, he would back off. Most of the world thought. That's why there's a war going on right now. I mean, Adam something pointed out that, like, I keep quoting this one video because I think that this is probably the best video on the subject I've seen, which I shared yesterday, where he's literally just like, Putin didn't want this war. He was trying to remove sanctions and make it possible for them to make more money, but bluffed too hard and bluffed himself into a corner. And so either he can admit defeat and act like a coward and make himself seem weak, or he can invade Ukraine. So he like bluffed himself into a corner with no other options left, which I would be very inclined to believe that, or he's actually just a fucking horrible monster, which is also a possibility. Like, I'm not writing that off as an option, but it really does just seem like he bluffed himself into a corner and is now putting his money where his mouth is, which is terrifying. Gonna need more ramps here. Can carve that one on the end into a ramp. But that article that's bouncing around about how Putin is reportedly planning to lose 50,000 troops is fucking ridiculous. That kind of thing should makes me kind of surprised that there isn't like a more military surrenders on the Russian side, because that is an extraordinary large number of losses. That is a timeline that is hurting my brain. Animal. Also, hi, Animal. How about we just save everybody a lot of trouble and just give Putin a shot of cyanide right about now? They'd rather not get arrested. You mean they'd rather they don't get their families arrested? Well, what would you prefer? You and your family get arrested, or you all die? Because that's kind of the options that we're looking at currently for a lot of people. I need to go use the restroom real quick. BRB. All right, I return. I've seen a lot of pictures of stuck Russian tanks. I don't know if that's related, Tygo. I've seen a whole lot of pictures of tanks that are just, like, stuck in the mud. Because, as they say, history repeats itself. Maybe more of a snake pit, but a vacuum. Yeah. I really hope that this just ends in political reform in Russia. That is the best possible outcome. Obviously, the worst possible outcome is World War III and we all die. Best possible outcome is Russia without Putin in charge. Because it has to happen eventually. Our guys are fucking with street signs, and for protection in this one, it just says "Go fuck yourself, go fuck yourself, go fuck." I think I've yeah, I've seen these. Although this looks suspiciously photoshopped to me, but I have definitely seen like pictures like this. This one I don't know if that's photoshopped. I'm not. It's hard to tell, but I've certainly seen like. Because I remember seeing a thing, it was yesterday, that there was an order going out to people in cities saying remove street signs so that the Russian soldiers get lost. Uh-oh. Seems like we've got disorderly conduct. Is somebody throwing a tantrum? Oh, I see, yeah. Moses is throwing a tantrum again. Man, fucking hell. Should also get rid of, uh-oh. I ever... No, I didn't. trying to like do way too many things at once in this fort and like missing stuff. Okay, cool. Merc is getting a body, or is getting a coffin. Apparently I didn't manage to do that the first time. They won't just get on, they don't know they're... Well, you'd think that people would come to their senses at a point, but I don't know. It's I think we're still allowed to be hopeful that there's a chance that maybe they'll just start dropping weapons and surrender. Yeah, no, I mean, like that's the thing is like I keep seeing like the words like if Ukraine wins, it's like Ukraine can't win, right? Even if all of the Russian soldiers surrender, everybody's already lost. You know, like even if like Ukraine gets annexed and becomes part of Russia, Russia doesn't win because they've lost so many soldiers and so much respect from the rest of the world. Like there is no place where anybody wins. Everybody's already lost because people are fighting. The fighting can stop, but that's not winning. That's just the fighting stopping. Angry dwelling upon getting into an argument. Where's the depressed one? I saw a depressed dwarf run by. You? Oh, it is you. Want decent meals. Want to acquire something. You want to practice a craft. Do you not have any crafts? You also want a decent meal, so maybe we could just give you... Maybe we could give you cooking. It's like you go make some decent meals. It's one of the principles of war. There's no winner ever. Yep. I've got no problems with Russia. I have a lot of problems with Russia's leadership. It's just like I have no problems with China. I have a lot of problems with China's leadership. Like, the Chinese people are great. It's like Russians are great. That's why, like, a third of this chat right now is Russian. It's like, I don't know. I don't have any problems against any particular group of people. But there's plenty of leadership in plenty of parts of the world that make me smack my forehead so fucking hard it puts a dent in it. Oh, that's Liam emote. I was like, I just kept thinking, that's a great emote. I like it. A lot of countries have very shit leaders. I just think it's amazing that there are Canadians who go around talking about how crappy our leader is, and I'm just sitting here kind of going like, man, we could have it so much worse, guys. Calm down. Like, he does things every now and again that makes me, like, squint at him, but, like, God. When it comes to, like, how bad a world leader could be, we got it pretty good. I have a feeling that's something that you'll see more and more over the coming weeks. I mean, like, when the pandemic started, initially it was very much like, oh, this is the Chinese virus, right? And then that immediately turned into racism against Chinese, and then that turned into racism against anybody who looks even remotely Asian, regardless of how long your family has been in a given country. So like that's just gonna get worse over the coming years, I think. Like, that's something that we're gonna have to deal with as a people, as humans, for the next, like, is it fair to say 5 to 10 years minimum? I don't think there's any getting around that, unless Putin gets what he wants. But I kind of doubt it. I'll be completely honest with you. I followed very little of Biden. As a Canadian, I know almost nothing about the guy. I know that he exists, and I just kind of ignore him outside of that. I don't see him in the news as frequently as Trump, and that has to be a good thing. That's kind of my take on Biden. As a Canadian, I don't really care about who the Americans elect as long as he doesn't look like he's got a fake tan. It's like people always kind of ask me on like my opinions on like American politicians, and like the only one that I've really had an opinion on in the last, I don't know, my entire life is Trump. And that's just, what the fuck is wrong with that guy more than anything? Yeah, we got an indoor swimming pool, and we're working on a side entrance for trade caravans. That's what we're working on currently. We're trying to get the, we're trying to become the mountain home. So in order to do that, we need to get the king in the fort. What, Trump? El Naso? I mean, clearly he painted it orange. Come on. Clearly. It had to, the big end the world button for him definitely has like the same orange tan color that he's got. Sorry to anybody here with a fake tan. It's not a good look. You honestly would be willing to pay tax for Putin to live in a luxurious castle on some islands if that means that he lets someone new control Russia? How about we build him a base on the moon and then cut the oxygen? How's that sound? Just tell him he's going to a better planet. It's fine. Just get him very far away from here. Well, while we're at it, we can send people to arrest him. Someone call Elon. Yeah. Trust me, Elon's been memeing throughout all of this. Off to the farm. He's gonna go live on a farm in the wilderness. Forever. I mean, I know for a fact I'm not the only person who's quietly just hoping / looking forward to seeing Putin go to court. That'll be amusing. But... I like that. Probably not nuking North America for a little while. I think the optimal version of that is probably not nuking anybody ever. It doesn't matter, like, whether or not it's North America. It's like anybody ever, period. You ain't here in 9 hours, so good night. Well, you have a good night. Cutest. Try and get some sleep, yeah? Don't be hungover in the morning. Drink water. I'm sure you know that, but... Sounds like somebody just dropped and broke a plate upstairs. My neighbors up above me have small children, and they are very loud. All right, so don't look at the news right now. Death tolls are coming out. Just a warning. That's kids for you. Yeah. I still wish I could move into a building that didn't allow kids, but unfortunately they don't let people my age move into seniors' homes, so otherwise I would definitely consider it if it was an option. Yeah, that's the scary thing, Tygo, is he seems deranged enough to actually do something like that. The scary thing is there's plenty of like major spots in the States that if Putin were to like just turn around and be like, fuck it, nuke America, odds are pretty good I'd die. Because if he fires more than one and one lands on Seattle, I'm dead. So. It's just death toll. I mean, if you want to see a death toll, look at the news right now. It's just kind of hard. I'm looking for my diorite blocks and I'm not seeing them. Yeah, I've read the articles about that story, Hoshan, where they were like, it was like it was a false alarm on their side, and someone just decided not to do it. I remember reading about that. It was like a false positive that the U.S. had not launched nukes at Russia. Or something. I don't know. It was a while ago. Several different countries agree? Yeah, but, you know, we're also not supposed to go to war unless several different countries agree, right? And I guess Russia's just decided that they are several different countries all at once. I think you're right, cutest. I think you're right. Also, uni in 9 hours. Go to bed. War isn't an excuse for you to fail your grades. Come on. Chop, chop. Well, Russian MPs are speaking out against the war, so that's good. I can't read any of this, but... Use probability calculators to decide. Yeah, there's a lot of weird shit there. But I know that this sounds weird for streamer to be promoting shit, but new episode of my podcast is out. We don't talk about wars at all, just video games. You believe that humans got nukes too early? Humans got nukes at exactly the right time, right when they realized they exist. There's nothing that we can do about it. We have it. So it doesn't matter if we're ready or not. We got them when we got them. I wouldn't worry about it more than that. Looking at Google Maps, definitely not the game right now. Well, think about what era Putin went to school, Animal. Think about the era that he, like, learned everything that he knows. Yeah, the question is, who's really stupid and also invading Ukraine right now? You know, you also, like, you have to be really stupid to fire off nukes, yes. You also have to be really stupid to invade another country right now. Well, someone's stupid enough to actually do it, so point one done. You know, we've moved past that. And just like your username states. Insane. I'm not trying to say that you're insane, but you are insane because it is your name. So it's just like animals and animal. You're amazed that Russia and USA alone can destroy the world several times over. I mean, you don't need to fire off that many nukes to make the world virtually unlivable. You don't need to fire off that many. The impact of just one nuke is ridiculous. Like, the entire planet could become virtually flat overnight. And then all those flat earthers would finally be right. The Earth is actually flat, and we're all dead. Or, it wasn't, but now it is. Before we decide Earth is yuck, I don't want to live on another planet. For one thing, like, let's just say we have colonies on Mars. Just remember, human corpses can't decompose on Mars. The fuck are we gonna do with all the bodies? We are literally gonna need to bring dirt from Earth to decompose bodies naturally, if we want to decompose them naturally. I don't really want to live on another planet, thanks. I'd like this one to not die in my lifetime, ideally. Whatever works for you. I don't want to be put in a computer. Send them off Viking style and send to the sun. Actually, realistically, they were I read a study where they were talking about it would be a combination of burning corpses to put CO2 into the atmosphere and other chemicals, and using them as literal fucking ground fertilizer for growing food. Wexler. Imagine being like, you are the old person imagine being like 90 years old and flying to Mars to die so that when you die on Mars, they can use you as fertilizer. That is one of the proposed ways of just dealing with corpses on Mars, if we ever build a colony out there. Also, to anybody who's new here, because I have seen some new names in chat. Hi, thanks for coming by. I just want to warn you that this stream is very doomer due to the state of the planet. If you do want to talk about dwarfy-related things, though, feel free to ask questions. I could probably tell you. Yes, they're also real bad for the environment. That's actually something I would do. If I knew I was going to die in 6 months or something, I'd be down to go to Mars to die peacefully. And all surface buildings? Ooh. Those are fun. Surface forts are fun. Oh, why'd the game pause? Did I pause it? Looks like I paused it. Another planet for humankind to destroy. That is the cynical way of thinking it. I just have a feeling we're just gonna, like, just not. Like, I'm very much kind of the opinion that our species won't exist in 100 years, most likely, so enjoy it while it lasts, kids. Come on, dwarves. I know I won't be around in 100 years, so there's that. But do your damnedest to take care of this planet while you can. We all owe the planet that much for letting us live here this long. Slash are human space orcs? Yes. That seems like a fun subreddit. I've never been to that particular subreddit, but it sounds fun. Just from the name. I'm literally just building a giant ramp on the side of this mountain. That's all this is. Just a steep ramp suspended on the side of this mountain. That hopefully traders will be able to use to make it to the end. We're getting there. We are getting there. Let's just pull that lever. How's the drain doing? Pretty damn close to empty, so we can open up the fort now. Looks like a bird probably stole an artifact. Front door. Trap lock. Open both those levers. And we can go start cleaning it. Where'd them dwarves go? There you are. This is maybe the funniest headline I've seen all day. U.S. urges its citizens to leave Russia immediately. I don't believe I've seen a more no shit, Sherlock thing in a while. So that airport that you said was burning? Tygo? There's videos of it online now. Not like Russia's in any danger? Well, you're not going to be able to... Well, okay. So you should... If you're in Russia and you don't live in Russia, you're not going to be able to leave Russia. That's why. And I wouldn't say that Russia isn't in any danger. For one thing, everybody is canceling flights to and from Russia. For one thing. This person just comments on a long death FOD. Why do you like this game so much, though? It's good. Fun. Swift is being taken down. Well, I mean, Swift is being disconnected, which also means that Swift is being disconnected at bank speeds, which is about the speed of a snail getting stepped on, so. Banks, like, you know, are very quick and efficient as long as you're, like, talking them not in a war zone between the hours of 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. on a weekday. Yeah, that too. Yeah, actually, I hadn't even considered that, but yeah, that's probably also a concern. Big, huge doubts? I thought that you were the, Oh, Sean, I thought that you were, very pessimistic. The pessimist should be the one going, oh yeah, they're going to start taking political prisoners. I mean, Russia's done that in the past. Why wouldn't they do that again? We have this Instagram person that everybody loves. We're going to put her in prison if you don't stop sending guns to the Ukraine. I don't know. Seems kind of like a silly argument, that, but most war is. Too stupid of a move? Okay, so invading a country isn't too stupid of a move, but taking hostages is. Got it. I'm pretty sure they've already taken hostages, haven't they? Like, I was reading about the Chernobyl power plant. There's, like, employees that are, like, not allowed to leave. Isn't that literally the same thing? Wall bits around the edge. No, not American hostages, Ukrainian hostages. But there's, like, articles popping up left and right of people volunteering to go fight. So it's only a matter of time until they start having hostages or casualties from other countries. Like, I literally have a subreddit open right now. Actually, never mind. I closed it, apparently. I had a subreddit open, which is Volunteers for Ukraine. So people are absolutely, like, flying to Ukraine from other countries. There's also a guy claiming that they're going to donate $1 for every upvote that they get, and it's at 51,000 upvotes. So I don't know if OP is now bankrupt, but I hope OP has a lot of money. I hope that OP delivers in this. They are kicking up dirt with heavy technicals, and the radiation has risen. Hold on, checking alcohol count. We're good. Let's go smack another goblin post. That's Dark Human. 75 at that one. Let's just raid it with these three and see how it goes. Just a raid. Nothing outside of a raid. They're kicking up dirt with the heavy technicals, and the radiation levels have risen. And Belarus is once again going to be downwind from that, mind you. Yeah, which is literally fucking their own people over. Yeah, I saw that photo. You think OP is doing PR? OP is probably doing something, but I want to see OP deliver. For whatever it's worth, I really would like to see OP deliver. Oh, never mind. Edit, we're done at 10,000. Okay. Was originally planning 5,000 max, but someone else can roll the donation thread. Okay, so this person hit their max at 10,000. Well, they donated 10,000. So shout outs to OP. OP still donated $10,000. That's pretty good. Shout outs to OP. I mean, don't they, like, not to be a big meanie or anything, or to state the obvious, but, like, isn't the best way to shut down a country is to knock out their power grid? So that would be logical. Also knew when to stop and didn't let it go beyond his means. I mean, OP posted a post saying for every upvote this gets, I will donate $1 to Ukraine, and then OP donated twice what they were planning, which is pretty nice of OP, I'd say. What, shutting down a power grid? You know, if this conflict has taught us anything, is war crimes are not necessarily out of the question. In fact, I'm pretty sure Putin's probably already racked himself a pretty hefty sentence for war crimes, which he probably won't ever serve, unfortunately. Because either he will get away with it, or he will drink cyanide, and I don't think that there's any other way there. No. Gotta pull that lever. Well, it's happened in the past. It's just not as common. Stone. I'm pretty sure so is shelling civilians, right, Tyga? So is shelling a hospital, which they've already done both. There's like an upsettingly large amount of footage of just like that. Yeah, it's time to get the really long Ethernet cord and an extension cable. You know? Just run a couple cables across the borders. It'll be fine. I used to joke about that all the time with oh, jeez. We're hunting giant skinks again. I used to joke about that all the time with a friend of mine down in Seattle who had way faster internet than I used to have. Now I actually have faster internet than he does, which is kind of funny. The tables have turned. But back then he used to have way faster internet. I'm like, just can I get a really long Ethernet cable? Thanks. Supposedly he's already turned it on, but I was asking earlier because I thought that Starlink required proprietary satellite dishes in order to use, but apparently not. So I don't know. I'm trying really hard. Okay, so I don't like a lot of people in this planet, right? One of the people I don't like is Elon Musk. I'm trying to not give Elon Musk any credit during this war because dude's got enough of his own problems that he needs to fucking fix, including like, you know, paying people and not being a diamond problem. So he's got a lot of his own problems that he's got to fix before he starts trying to get good PR out of international crises, you know? And he already has a habit of doing that, and I really don't want to give him any benefits. And I also certainly don't like Starlink. As many like benefits as Starlink has, Starlink sucks. We don't need more shit in our atmosphere. He was, for whatever it's worth, I saw a tweet from Elon yesterday stating that it was, but that's all I have to say to that, Tyga. Yeah, some sats can raise orbit as they lost connection during a solar storm. Yeah, no, I agree with that. Like if there's ever a reason for Starlink to exist and give people internet, it's right now. But also, I don't want Starlink to exist when there isn't wars. You know, like we don't need more shit in our atmosphere. I don't know if this is accurate or not, but that is kind of insane. That is kind of insane. Starlink is ruining things for everybody. Like, I don't like Starlink at all, but what can you do? We need better methods of beaming internet at people, okay? Sample size is 2,000 though? Yeah, which is why I'm like, I don't know how accurate that is, but that's still kind of crazy. It's still kind of crazy though. Like, find me a sample size in any other country that is that undivided. Like, here it wouldn't. There's no way in hell that would happen. In the grand scheme of things, it is tiny, but for a poll, that's quite a decent sample size. He's definitely quoted himself into the history books, regardless of what happens. I think that he realizes something, Taiga. I think he, from my perspective, it seems like he's realized that right now he is the best public PR his country can have, which does nothing but benefit soldier morale, the public's morale, and the country's morale, which is what the country needs. And I think that he realizes that if he does end up getting shot or if he dies, he'll go down as a martyr, and everybody will hate that. And unfortunately, in war, sometimes you need martyrs for people to listen. I think that we've built up high enough, and my squads have returned, although I don't think it went so hot. The Dwarf Besmir was outmatched the Goblin. Zolak dread-fated with a cunning plan, and the attackers had a strong positional advantage in Frothgulls. First few fights came out in our favor. The Goblin Zolak's eyelid was smashed by the Dwarf Lear. Lear seems to be doing some pretty efficient schmacking of goblins. The Copper Mirrors, led by the Dwarf Besmir, clashed with 13 trolls, slaying 5. The Goblin Witch Lurks, right upper arm was smashed by a dwarf. Hell yeah. Generally, yeah, animal. The Goblin Aslot Lucid Menaces, lower front tooth was torn off. Hell yeah. And, the Golden Standards clashed with 4 goblins, slaying them. And, yeah, we didn't lose anybody, so that's good. Let's take out these trees on this layer. Alright, that's what we're gonna do. Let's just hack these trees down first. To me, he seems sincere, at least. Some people swear that he is in Europe secretly snorting cocaine, though regardless, the PR is real and it seems to work well for now. Even if he's not actually where he's claiming to be, like, even if, like, I would be shocked if that was the case. But even if he's not actually in the capital right now, and he is somewhere elsewhere snorting cocaine, like you said, that some people seem to think, even if he is doing that, he's still running one of the best marketing campaigns I've ever seen. Like, regardless, like, he's doing an extremely good job with the marketing. Everybody needs a hype man, and he's doing a very good job of that right now. And regardless of where he actually is, most likely is actually in the capital. The line, I know I need ammunition, not a ride, is gonna be taught in the history books for the rest of our lives. Don't forget that the Russian troll bots are in full throttle right now. Yes, that is also true. It's really difficult to watch a lot of the live streams on YouTube that have chats active because it's just like a lot of them just claiming that the streams are all fake. But what's fun is some of them are fake. Like, there are actually some live streams right now that are just like airing old footage, being like, there's no fighting, and then you look at a different one and you're like, oh, there's fighting. You've been turning off the chat? I usually turn off the chat, but you see some stuff while you're shutting the chat off. I have actually found a couple of fake streams. There's a couple super sketchy ones, so you have to like find legitimate news sources, but same for everything. Waiting for my dwarves to hack down trees. Well, the thing is those multicams are streaming from like official sources, so you just have to check the official sources to make sure that they are showing the same footage, and assuming they're showing the same footage, then yeah, they're probably fine. Which, you know, isn't the hardest thing to fact check. If you dig underneath a tree and channel up, it collapses and kills the dwarf usually, so I have to be very careful. Also, hi, Red Octobear. Wow. I'm not going to show this on stream, but there's a link if anybody wants to see it to satellite footage of Russian army. I have a question. Do you think that you, and this is more of a thought experiment than anything, do you think that you will inadvertently end up hating Russian people because of this? Oh, Sean, you yourself. Like, this is me asking you. Do you think that you are going to end up hating anybody? All right. Then if you encounter anybody who is, call them out on it. Educate them. That's your job as a human, right? If you see somebody being an asshole, call them out on it and fix it. It's unfortunately something that I have to do on a rather regular basis just playing video games on the internet. You see somebody being an asshole, call them out. Point it out. Oh, of course they'll use any excuse. But you got to call them out for it. Right? Like, it's one of my favorite things, right, is to like use Dwarf Fortress as an allegory. And it's like when I see people just being blatantly rude to like any of the factions in Dwarf Fortress, it's like, don't use Dwarf Fortress as an analog for racism. Don't use the idiocy of a world leader to color your take on everybody who lives in a country. Also, this is a small thing. I like to order records and tapes from Russia because they're really cheap. I got an email this morning saying that a thing that I ordered like 6 weeks ago that I forgot about, the order got canceled. I was like, oh, man. I didn't get a refund either, and I'm not expecting it. It's like, unfortunately, this package is being held indefinitely. I'm like, well, fuck. But not surprised. Tiny little record shop in Russia can't send me a record that I bought. Sad times. I'm not going to lose sleep over it. Spending $12 on 3 records, though. Not a huge loss for me, but I hope that they're okay. It's just kind of sad. More than anything, because I forgot about it. And then I was like, oh, right. Shit. That is such a good photo. Consensus? Such a good photo. It's like, I'm Russian, sorry about that. Yeah. I just hope the sunflower seed lady's okay. Sounds Canadian? Do you want me to find the picture? I know this might come to you as a shock cooler, but other countries have the word sorry too. It's not inherently Canadian. Although I did see somebody on the internet the other day when Canada was just like, we're imposing sanctions, say, well, it looks like Canada is no longer sorry. You've pissed off the Canadians, you'll be sorry. I didn't even know what you're talking about there, eh? This is good. Two of Russians billionaires call for peace. I mean, they're like, oh my god, they're making us not have as much money. Of course. Naturally. Billionaires only get mad when shit starts to affect the bottom line, and shit's starting to affect the bottom line, guys. Hell yeah, capitalism. Said nobody. Wait, what? Aeroflot has canceled all flights to European destinations. Will impose sanctions. Sorry for the inconvenience, pretty much. Oh, sorry for that, is what the sign says. It's this picture that went viral. I'm Russian, sorry for that. This guy. He doesn't need to be sorry. Such a gut-wrenching photo. I will say I've seen more pictures of dead bodies on the internet in the past week, though, than I've seen since, like, Rotten.com was a popular website. Why be sorry you did nothing? I can understand feeling bad for one's country even if you didn't do anything. You know? I can understand that. All right, well, so theoretically, we now have a road that starts approximately where the wagons spawn, that runs all the way down here, and down, and down, and down, and down to our trading depot right here. So theoretically, we should be able to train. Or trade, not train. We should theoretically be able to trade. Well, have you ever apologized on behalf of somebody else, Super Joe? To empathize with a person who's been hurt? Because that's essentially what that is, right? It's like... It's like if you know somebody who said something shitty to somebody else and you say, man, I'm sorry that they said that to you. That's the sort of, that's how I read it. It's like, I'm sorry this person that I know or this place that I came from did a thing. That gives some people closure, and I think that that's totally fine. And he worded it badly? That's possible. I don't know. Here goes your spring vacation to Russia. Yeah. It's just strange to you? As a Canadian, it makes perfect sense to me. But it's also fair that Cooler says that sounds very Canadian, because it is a very Canadian. Like, that is a culturally very Canadian thing. Like, Canada's culture is very monoculture these days. We very much are... we have our own culture, but it's more of a very international amalgamation of things combining into a culture. So as much like as you have Canadian culture, you also have like all of the different communities within that. And the one thing that like I always think of very intrinsically Canadian is feeling the need to feel empathy for somebody else that was wronged on behalf of you, even if you didn't take part. So. But at the same time, the word sorry has like grown beyond being a apology and is kind of more of an insult now, which is kind of funny, but I would assume that's what he means. I would assume that's what he means. To me, I just see that as, you know, being sympathetic, I suppose. You know, it's just like me going downtown and standing with that crowd of people. It's like, that does that actually do anything? No. But, you know, if it makes you feel better and if it makes 10 people around you feel better, do it. Because that's having an effect. Small, but it's an effect. Butterfly flapping its wings, yada yada. It's just like, can I myself have much of an effect? No. But I donated $150 to relief efforts, and now I'm sitting here and talking and letting people vent if they need it. That's my way of having a very small effect. I thought that photo was taken because he's not in Russia. I actually don't know what country that's in. That photo was taken in. I was just when I saw that photo, I was just kind of immediately under the assumption that he wasn't in the country, which is why that photo was taken. Because if he was in Russia when that photo was taken, that would make even less sense. I mean, that's kind of this is more of a question than like a statement or anything cooler, but that's not too dissimilar to like people in the Western world not liking billionaires, correct? I'm pretty sure that photo was taken before the protests started, but I could be wrong. Super Joe. Also, I'm assuming you're a different Super Joe, but I know a Super Joe named Super Joe Bob who made a game called Duck Game. So it's real hard for me to not, like, add a Bob to the end of your name whenever I read it. I mean, I don't know him, but I know of him. Adding a Bob to your name is really cool. Well, I mean, you're Super Joe 2, not Super Joe Bob, right? Super Joe Bob made Duck Game. You're Super Joe 2, person with a blue name in my chat. Although I will just say this, Jet. Thank you for, like, you know, hanging out and taking part in these conversations and being civil. There is, like, a very small... Super Joe, yes. The Joe of the super variety. Because there is, like, a very small part of me that's just like, man, wouldn't it be funny if we just got completely swarmed by bots? But also, thanks for keeping the chat super civil. You know, can have really kind of downer conversations, but keep it reasonable and chill at the same time. So thanks for that, guys. Apparently, Russia and Ukraine are to hold talks on Monday morning. Seeing a bunch of reports of that pop up in the last 5 minutes. It's damn close to Monday, too, so that's great. Hey, Graves. DF-related question. Do I play adventure mode sometimes? Yeah, I played adventure mode the week before last week. I got kind of like, I've gotten kind of sucked into this fort, but whoop. Seems like that dwarf finally went nuts. Starved himself to death. Dwarf. Yeah, no, I've run like 6 or 7 adventures in this world. I'm not very good at adventure mode. Like, I'm not going to pretend to be an expert at adventure mode, but I do quite like it. My goal of this fort is to get the king into this fort and make it into the mountain home instead of just a city. And once we're the mountain home, then start running some adventures around in this fort. Or in this world, rather. And then start a new fort in this world. I usually do them between forts. The problem is I don't have many opportunities to be between forts because my main fort is Long Death, which is running for 1,000 years, and then there's this fort, which is like gotten a bit out of hand in scale. I was planning on keeping this fort small, but then I built a big water trap, and since then I've built out along the sides of it, and now we've got this like kind of not huge but pretty big fort that I'm working on. So it's kind of gotten let's just say that this fort is suffering from feature creep right now. Once we get beyond the feature creep, we can get back to the content. Gremlin for mayor, Diamond? Yeah, I was gonna say, like, it's basically Monday. Well, I mean, supposedly Belarus is committed to supporting the Russian military with an airborne offensive for the next 24 hours. So there's that. All taken off currently. So far, though, the most surreal and craziest part of this war for me is just watching news of rockets taking off in Russia and then 20 minutes later seeing footage of them landing. They didn't land exactly? Well, I mean, at least the news I'm reading is that they haven't really taken off yet, but or they're taking off. Coming from air, there you go. Only Elons do that? Well, okay. They crash landed and exploded and detonated the way they're supposed to and designed to, but yes. It would be quite funny if they fired off missiles and then they just went and just landed. Delivery complete. Will host Russian nukes within a year? Host Russian nukes. Care to elaborate by that, Silver She? Also, hi, Silver She. How are you? I think that, like... Okay, I have a question. Because this past, like, 2 weeks has been, like, really, really, really quiet for my stream. Not a lot of people have been tuning in. It's just, like, we've had very quiet streams recently. Today, everybody's tuning in. Did everybody get the day off today, or are you guys all just really sick of watching Elden Ring? It's one of the two. What's going on? There's way more people here than usual. Or the past 2 weeks usual. It's Sunday? Last Sunday was dead as shit, and Sundays are normally the quietest day of the week for me statistically, so that actually doesn't mean much that it's Sunday. And you're taking an Elden Ring break. So everybody just booked time off school to like play Elden Ring. Everyone finally maxed out their main and alts on Lost Ark. Finally, maybe, yeah. Maybe. It didn't the last 2 days, so. just, it's okay. Whenever you see Elden Ring, Graves, just like remind yourself that it sounds suspiciously similar to onion rings. And then just remember that on the first day of Christmas, your lover gave to me 5 onion rings. Or an onion ring. I don't even know where I'm going with this. This is a joke that's like ran out of space here. Just forget about Elden Ring and go eat an onion ring. But people do seem to really like it. I'm happy people like it. Would make the most fantastic. It actually does kind of look like a Nano War of Steel album, doesn't it? Like that, and like if you told me like, yeah, that's the new Nano War of Steel album, I'd be like, yep, this checks out. 2 parodies in 1, let's go. I have no idea what this lever is connected to. True story, 0 clue. Actually, no, I know exactly what it was connected to, and I can deconstruct it. That's what I was using to cave things in, apparently. Did that? So I haven't had a single trader this year. I haven't really been watching the calendar much. I wonder if I pissed them off. Hope I didn't accidentally invade anybody. Run Zombie Army 4 anyway? That's a lot of zombies. Project Zomboid's fun. I like Zomboid. Some of the mods get a little silly, though. There's a small part of me that's been kind of tempted recently to play some Zomboid single-player stuff, but also at this, I'm just as tempted as I am not interested. The Flowery Hall has many members and hot beards and now requires a Grand Guild Hall, so I need to increase the value of the Flowery Guild Hall. Which one are they in? Flowery Hall is the Rosy Hawk. This one. Let's make 30 rock statues. And let's make them out of quartzite so they're nice kind of lighter color. Actually, just out of curiosity, just out of the pool of people we have here right now, how many of you have played Elden Ring, and how many of you have played Lost Ark? I'm just kind of curious. I'm not going to judge anybody for their game choices, by the way. I'm not going to make fun of you. I'm just curious. So you didn't find the Ark Silver Sheet. Good to know. Yeah, I installed it and on like before it came out and then uninstalled it, Red Octo. I uninstalled it when I realized how much of a Korean MMO it is. I was like, oh, super grindy Korean MMO. I'll pass. Playing Elden Ring right now. You know, honestly, if I was into those types of games, I don't think I'd watch any streams of them because I'd be worried about spoilers. Especially in that game. Seems like a very spoiler-heavy game. Hell yeah. I mean, it looks like I said, it looks like a great game. It looks like a very, very good game. It's nice to see FromSoft try new things. And it's nice to see them push boundaries, which they are. Cherno is holding off for a week to play Onion Ring specifically so that people can avoid spoilers. Yeah, just like let chat get ahead of it. Or do like what Excessive Profanity does, where he just like plays so fucking slowly. He's just like, I've made 0 progress in my first 2 days playing Elden Ring. Let's see if we can make it for a third. He just like hangs around and looks at pretty scenery and kills an enemy once every 6 weeks. An axe dwarf is visiting. Would you look at that? I think I should make some of my locations public. Let's invite visitors back into the tavern. Why not? What could go wrong? Aside from everything. Looks like they're working on them statues. So you know how earlier I was talking about seeing photos of and videos of rockets taking off? Those are happening again. Stay safe, everybody. If anybody wants to doom scroll alongside of me, this is what I'm watching. Tomorrow can't come soon enough. You're good? Yeah, that's probably wise, but I'm not gonna like comment on things and then not give you guys what I'm staring at. They've ruined going back to Dark Souls games for you? Wait, what do you mean? Like Elden Ring has? I mean, I don't know. To me, like, I haven't played Elden Ring, right? I kind of have, and I have no intention to. But to me, that game kind of looks like the difference between Metroid and Metroid First-Person Shooter Edition, which I can't remember the name of now. Prime. It kind of looks like the difference between Metroid and Metroid Prime, you know? Just like the difference between Amazon and Amazon Prime. But no, it looks like the difference between Metroid and Metroid Prime. It's like, it's an evolution of the series, but it's also so different that they could probably make one of the old ones again. But, you know. All I know is that there's a character that gives you hugs in that game, and it gives you a buff, and I want that character in real life. Because I could use a buff right about now. It makes you think of Breaths of the Dark Souls. I mean, that's essentially what it is. Yeah, of course there's a character named Dung Eater. It's a fucking FromSoft game. Their naming conventions will never change. Wow, that's pretty. Pink. Must smell great in there. He's important. Yeah, and I don't know. FromSoft has had really strange names for their characters for a long time. Surprised me. Misery thinking about a lot of conflicts and natural disasters and shit. Yeah, I agree. It's, you know, like I said earlier, I don't want to bring anybody down. I just want to give people a space where they can vent if they need to. For whatever that's worth. But, you know, Yeah, I saw that. This country will join the EU in sanctions against Russia. Significant, considering Switzerland's traditionally neutral stance. Yeah. Yeah, that was something that we were talking about earlier today, because Switzerland was like, the Swiss were considering placing sanctions earlier today, but they hadn't confirmed anything. And I was talking about that tweet that I saw where he's just like, you know that you fucked up when Switzerland sides against you, which is true. I mean, I've watched Dark Souls the movie a couple of times. Dark Souls lore is cool. I just have no interest in playing the game. I don't know. I don't want to mock people's fun because I know that that game is extremely well made. It's a game that I don't want to play. I don't really have any negative things to say about Elden Ring aside from that I really don't want to watch it because there's too much of it. Definitely like a content overload there. Before that game came out, I had a few people ask me, they're like, are you planning on streaming Elden Ring? And whenever I said no, it was always a combination of, aw, man, and yay! Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's an extremely well-made game. And people like it. That's good. We need extremely well-made games that people like. What keeps this industry going? Ah! I need to give these dwarves a break. I've been overworking them. It's pretty much a hiccup. Pretty much unanimous that all of these dwarves just want to pray to their gods. Onion ring? Or Elden Ring stone? Praying to their god that you let them take a break? Yeah, we're kind of slave driving these poor fuckers, aren't we? Okay, whose body is that? Right, yes, that's Moses' corpse. Did you ever get a coffin? That's the coffin that just has Plump Helmet Man in it. This is the resting place of Plump Helmet Man. And other Plump Helmet Man. Need more coffins. You played Diaries of a Spaceport Janitor this month. Your eyes hurt a bit, but it was a cute game. That's good. Good games are good. Good games just make the industry better. And the industry being better makes all games better. And all games being better makes, you know, the games industry what it is. But audience burnout is definitely a thing. There is a mod that lets you brew them, but no, they're a sentient life form. So for the same reason we can't, it's for the same reason that we can't, butcher, like, goblin corpses, we can't brew Plump Helmet Men, because they are sentient creatures. Adom? Yeah, like a decade ago. Decades ago. Like 2008 to 2012, I played Adom. It was one of my go-to queuing for League of Legends or queuing for Counter-Strike or waiting for group games for a very long time. And I streamed Ultimate ADOM a number of times, and good God, that game is horrible. But it's not currently a roguelike that I play now. I have played it in the past, though. Still haven't finished it once. I finished ADOM once, but I save scummed a lot. So, I followed a guide and I save scummed. But I finished it once. Or I didn't ever finish it, depending on, like, stance on save scumming. But even with a wiki, that game is hard as fuck. Until you turn into a corrupted pile of goo. Yeah, that makes sense. This checks out. A teammate of mine, Bellinair, streamed a bunch of, not Ultimate ADOM, just Ancient Domains of Mystery once and did a full run. And towards the end of his run, when he was getting close to finishing the game, he stepped on an altar and got sacrificed by a priest that he couldn't see because it was invisible. So he stepped on an altar and got insta-gived by a priest that he couldn't see and safe scummed it. I don't blame him. I would have too. Fuck that shit. While I do enjoy ADOM, I think it's a very good game. Holy fuck, that game is bullshit. Fun. Yeah, that's a word that we could use for that. I prefer the term bullshit, but you know, you can call that fun if you like. Veggies are getting made. All right. Only need to get it up a few more in the value scale. I mean, chat's just screaming. Putin's threatening Greece now? Excuse me? Do you have a link to that, Tygo? Dude needs to bite down on a cyanide capsule. I mean, I think Russia needs... So, the title of... I'm just going to read the title of this article. Russia warns Greece to stop anti-Russian propaganda. Russia needs to stop the anti-Russian propaganda by stopping invading people. You wonder why there's anti-propaganda against your country when you're the ones running around shooting people. Fucking geniuses. I'm skimming this article. The top comment on this Reddit thread is distressing. Russia shells a Greek village in Ukraine and kills civilians. Russia, stop spreading anti-Russian propaganda about us. Sad face emoji. It's like, this fucking You wonder why people don't like you. Gosh, you whiny little twits. Your larger monsters leaf unfurled? Hell yeah. It's beautiful. I need to figure out if I have enough light for a Monstra. Because I want one of those. Those things are so cool looking. Such cool fucking plants. Every piece of info needs to be taken with a grain of salt. Well, yeah, but that's why you fact check. Fact checking is not too difficult. I'm waiting for somebody to make a Han shot first meme, except for with Putin. It's still there. I'm kind of planning on making it into a throne room. I haven't finished it yet, though. I'm currently prioritizing other things, and the thing that I'm prioritizing is I want traders to be able to get into my fortress. I want to actually be able to trade properly because I've always been missing caravans. So that's my current project, is make the inside of the fortress accessible to trade caravans, because currently it's not, and that's a problem, and I need that to be changed. The building in the middle of the river is still here. It's right there. I mean, it's constructed. It's got a roof on it. Nice tall ceilings. So could totally make this into a brilliant throne room. It's just a matter of doing it. There will be other games as complex and focused on emergent gameplay as Dwarf Fortress? I mean, there are similar games. They're just focused on different things. But I don't know. I mean, like, Caves of Cud tries to do similar things, but not exactly. Like, there really isn't any game that's trying to be complex in the same way Dwarf Fortress is complex, if that's what you're asking. Dwarf Fortress is pretty fucking unique in the way it's complex. But, like, there are games that are similar levels of complexity. I mean, even games like Kerbal Space Program is similar in its insane simulation and complexity. Caves of Cud is similar in its insane, like, interconnected world and complexity. CDDA is similar in its crazy amounts of intertwined complexity. Like, there's plenty of games out there that exist that are incredibly complex. But the writing and language are weird. I love the writing in Caves of Cud because it makes the game feel completely alien. Very few games do a good job of feeling alien. Like, that world just feels so strange and mysterious because of the writing. I love the writing in that game. The writing in Caves of Cud is what makes Cud incredible. It takes Cud from just being like a pretty cool roguelike to being incredible. It's some of the densest world building in a game. You think that's what they went for? I know that. I know for a fact that's what they went for because that's what one of the writers, who's one of my patrons, has stated in the past. Towns had a lot of promise, but the dev gave up on it. I wouldn't even consider towns to have promise, but I mean, like, asking if there are games that will be as complex and as deep as Dwarf Fortress is kind of a redundant question because, like, there already are games that are trying to be as deep, but so like the natural answer is of course, but the thing is none of them are trying to do it exactly the same way Dwarf Fortress is, right? So, and then a lot of the games that have similar levels of insane complexity are completely different games, like Aurora 4X, just as an example, or Space Station 13. It's like, those are games that have been, like, developed for ridiculously long period, or even, like, something like fucking, OpenTTD. Like, that also has similar levels of absurd depth, but, like, it's not really a contest, so, I don't know. But I think depth and replayability are definitely becoming a more popular thing, at least amongst independent devs, which is a good thing, in my opinion. Problem is you can only sell a game once. So once you've sold a game once to a person, if it's infinitely replayable, then that's not a very sustainable business model. As long as Putin doesn't nuke the planet, yeah. Meng would like to live here to entertain people. What are you, Meng? Or poet? Yeah, sure. Why not? I'll take a poet. I haven't taken a poet into the fort yet. Okay, cool. Yeah, well, I mean, like, realistically, if you gave... I'm just going to throw out numbers here, so I apologize in advance. If you gave 100 programmers an unlimited budget and told them to remake Dwarf Fortress, they could probably pull it off. It's more of a question of whether or not... I'm using the wrong type of floor for a lot of this. Yeah, whatever. I'll just let them build it and then deconstruct it later. Actually, let's just remove this whole corner up here and just let them build the rest of it. But I don't know. That's one of those questions where it's just like, that's kind of a moot point. I don't really have an answer to that. One person's ambition is, like, you know, not really comparable to other things. I mean, even, like, Space Engine is a similar, like, passion insanity project. Which is largely made by, like, 3 people, isn't it? Also, speaking of Russian games, or software, I don't think it's fair to call Space Engine a game, but... one of my weavers withdraws from society and drops a block on the ground and probably runs over to a clothes shop. A goat woman bard, ooh, is visiting. That's kind of cool. If an indie game dev was building something like Dwarf Fortress, your strategy would be to sell new game versions? Well, I mean, just look through the upcoming list on Steam. There's dozens of them. Games that are trying to, at the very least, look like Dwarf Fortress, if not be like Dwarf Fortress. So. Let's follow this dwarf. I don't think so, Oshan. I mean, Caves of Cut has a Patreon, and they're planning on selling story packs after 1.0, so. If I had to bet, probably not very well, considering, like, Steam version doesn't have native Linux support yet, and isn't the Steam Deck a Linux device? Pretty sure it is. No, we're gonna say no, because we invited one, and we're gonna say no. Feels very basic. That's why I've never stuck to Keeper RL. I played the free version back when. It was neat. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a fork of Linux, is it not? Or if grabs an uncut gem. Yeah, but it also fractures your audience, and then so if you sell different versions, it fractures your audience. I don't know. I'm not even gonna discuss hypotheticals like if you were to try and do that. Like that's up to you guys. It's too deep of a subject. Man, I feel like every update I'm seeing right now is just like the Russians have captured this, the Russians have captured that, the Russians have captured this. Leave. I mean, I see it's questions like how well will Dwarf Fortress run on the Steam Deck is things that I can ask Tarn later this week. Baron Consort of Blade Busts. Tell me more about your blade busts. Datan Vetolalok. Do tell. We also apparently have fire imps on the map. That's a subreddit. If I ever saw one, Tyga. I'm sorry, what am I looking at? Please tell me this is real. Please tell me that this is real. Please. Please tell me that that is real. Stray dog's been found dead. What? I mean, I guess it died because of spring, but that's sad. I hope so. I think Blade Bust is the name of a place. I don't need more entertainers. It's just people asking to stay here. I mean, man, like, Diamond, genuine question, right? You're, like, hypothetical situation. Your country is under invasion by an invading force. Bunch of dudes pull up in front of your house with a tank or onto your land and then park it. And then they get out of the tank and they run away and desert. What do you do with the tank? Do you go for joyride? I might go for joyride. If it was far enough away from civilization that I wouldn't get shot. I might go for joyride or pull it around or set it on fire. I don't know. Like, what would you do? I was given the opportunity to go for a joyride in a tank. I might take it, I'll be honest with you. I mean, come on. If given the opportunity, who wouldn't, like, steal a tank? Also, I love this comment. What I learned today is to not underestimate tractors. That is hilarious. Just a tractor pulling a tank. That is wonderful. Also, apparently tanks must have a neutral gear. There's no way in hell they'd be driving that thing. Pulling it with a tractor without putting it in neutral. I'm just, like, imagining the logistics now of, like, how do you pull a tank? Bigger lesson is don't mess with farmers. I'm just going to pull up this tweet that I saw earlier today just because it's too funny. This was a tweet that I showed on the stream earlier today from Splattercat. Shout out to Splattercat, great YouTuber. But he says, my wife is Ukrainian American and I feel like I could have saved Putin a lot of trouble if he had just called me and asked, what it's like to have an angry Ukrainian in close proximity due to your dumb decisions. Just saying, like. Slaughtered a rhino. Our hunting efforts have been grand. Oh boy. EU countries to send over fighter jets to send fighter jets to Ukraine to fight off Moscow's invasion by countering Russian air and land assaults. From Josep Borrell, I think is how you say his name, from EU's foreign policy chief. So that's fun. And Dwarf has begun a mysterious construction. It's a clother. They've grabbed 2 pieces of pigtail cloth, rough red pie ropes, palemo wood logs, baguette cut morions, diorite blocks, and tigerfish dorsal fin. You know, your old buddy, that's the first thing you said in my chat. Because there was a bunch of numbers and dollar signs in there, I thought you were a bot for a split second there. I was like, whoa! 4.5 billion in armaments and support Norway. Huh. Wow. That's still a lot of money. That's all I can really say to that, is that's a lot of money. Welcome back, Rory. I just read that here. I can link you the tweet. This is from the Kiev Independent. It's Kiev newspaper. When they say to send fighter jets, and here I am saving up for a video card. Yeah, right, man? Jeez. Stone's been doing pretty well on the investing recently. Also, check this out. I'm sorry, what? What? Why does this cave fish just get described as a head? Head. This is a cave fish person. A humanoid creature with the head of a blind cave fish. They live in colonies in watery regions underground. She's incredibly skinny and her skin is white. But she's described as just a head. What? I mean, it's definitely got a body. They are ahead of the theme, I guess. The head of one? No, it's definitely like a fully living creature, but for some reason the description is just a head. Rip, hobo. Oh, I understand. Yeah, that makes sense. They're the head of a gang. Yep, that makes sense. Which means I should interrogate them. What's your name? Austin? Welcome to this fortress. You can be interrogated now. I can... Hold on a second. I can interrogate a giant? I mean, I guess if you can interrogate a cat, why can't you interrogate a giant? There you are. Just... Oh, wait. Let's see what happens. Bam, Stone. Also, I hope that the meetings, or actually, did you have meetings today? Or was today a day that you were going on a hike? I can't remember, but I hope that your day's been good, Rory. Quite the strategy. Only invest what you're willing to lose. What's the smallest kind of giant? I actually don't know. The elves appear to be here to trade. Hey, is that a Gorlak? We have a Gorlak visitor. Digel, the weaver, has created Nist Ushil, a pigtail robe, and claims it as an heirloom in the name of the family ancestor, Catan Cloisterfur. Cloisterfur, it's like Cloisterfur. I need to sneeze. I managed to not do it on stream. Yay! It's worth 68,920. Why didn't you just round up the fears of ice? As considering we live somewhere where the stuff never freezes. This is a pigtail robe. All craftsmanship is of the highest quality. It is encrusted with oval diorite cabochons and round siltstone cabochons, and decorated with pigtail and encircled with bands of pigtail, and square-cut red pyropes and square-cut morions and tigerfish bone. It is made from pigtail cloth and menaces with spikes of red pyrope and pomelo wood. Yeah, there's no such thing as like a dwarf giant or anything. I have so many visitors. The problem that I have is like when I open my tavern up, I just get so many You know, let's also open up the temple and the library. Why not? Let's see what else we get. I'm just curious about how many visitors we end up getting. It's gonna be way too many. We're also gonna go one that had 75. This one. That one only has 30. Complexin? All right. We're going to send all 3 of our squads, and we're going to attempt to raise it. And I'm not going to loot other items. Only going to go attempt to raise them. So good luck, dwarves. Go raise the bads. To 80 guests. So many bards. Apparently, nearly 6,000 Russians have been detained due to protesting across Russia. And there was protests in 51 cities. I don't know why, but it makes me weirdly happy seeing that people are still, well, actually I do know why, but it makes me very happy to see people still protesting, regardless of the threat to their own well-being. That gives me hope. Creeds of inking. Also, there's a Gorlak in the middle of this. Or no, it's not a Gorlak. What are you then? Goblin Carpenter, maybe? Oh yeah, Goblin Carpenter. Huh. Kinda hoped you'd be a Gorlak. Also got a bunch of elves. And a guinea cock. It's this fish person that I think is fascinating. There we go. We're about to go interrogate that head. Lorbam! Pestilence wants to stay to entertain us. Nah. This fish person, though, is getting interrogated. I'm really hoping that this fish person admits to, like, convincing my dwarves to commit crimes or some shit. Just because I think that would be a lot of fun. Imagine showing up to a dwarven fortress and then just getting immediately interrogated. And it's like, why am I getting interrogated? Well, you're the head of a criminal organization and you put it in your resume and on your application when you came to stay here. Going to try and trade with the elves. Hey, zombies. There's a human pale hunter zombie in the fort now. I have a question. Is Jack in your fortress right now? By in your fortress, I mean in your house. Let's see how this interrogation went. Tempted to misrepresent facts surrounding the case in order to elicit information. The subject had a distrustful nature and refused to listen. In retrospect, the interrogator may have completely misjudged the subject's character. Well, we tried. The bard Kosath has shared many tales from beyond hot beards. To be fair, there's tons of news here. Kodal Copperwave became the sacred jail of the Square Fellowship, replacing motto Root Torment. The Fair Terrors. We should go after them afterwards. Also, chat, so I'm getting kind of hungry. So after I trade with these elves, I think I'm going to do lunch. So I'll pause the stream for like 5 to 10 minutes. So once we're done trading, I think we're going to do that. Got a lot of bards visiting, so the frames are going to get kind of funky. But I'll work on that. Not much I can do about it, unfortunately. Got lots of goblin beast hunters. They probably want into the caverns to go fight things. All right. Let's just buy all the pears, peaches, and fruits. And once we've queued up all of the fruits, we'll check what they have for... This alcohol variety is good. Kangaroo, they have a bobcat, giant muskox, peregrine, a grackle, honey badger, trisoperigan, crow, a horse, just a giant muskox, eh? Well, we'll give them gifts. You know, you're changing diapers on your kid. That's a valid reason to tune out a stream, dude. You have a good one. All right. Think I will leave you guys with this upper view of the tavern. All right, I will pause and shut off the camera. So I'm gonna go get food, chat. So I will be gone for a little bit. If you are tuning out, like I said, I will be back in like 5 minutes, 10 minutes tops. If you're tuning out, there's a YouTube link where you can go watch YouTube videos that I've done. Hey, Sui, I'm just going on lunch break, but thank you very much for the raid. How are you? Just going on lunch break. I will be back in like 5 minutes. But Sui, thank you very much for the raid. Welcome, Raiders. Hey, hi, everybody. Hey, Andy. What's up? How was demos? Did you play any fun demos today? Because I think you were playing demos again today. I'm just being a doomer and watching Russia invade people and hanging out. Chat, can I get a couple beers for the Raiders before I run off? And then I'm going to go get me a bagel. So I'm going to go get me a bagel, and then we'll continue stream. So hang out, get comfy to people tuned in. Also, new episode of the podcast is out. You want to listen to that? I will, like I said, be back in a couple of minutes after I get my lunch. You really liked Lost in Play and Cat Cafe Manager? Yeah, FG was saying nice things about Cat Cafe Manager. Like, real nice things about that one. So, heard good things. There's a lot of neat little games kind of coming through the woodwork. So, it's nice to see those. But anyway, like I said, I will be back. Thank you very much for the raid, Sui. Goes a long way. I will be back in a couple of minutes.